Alright, today we are going to be talking about Lesson 8-7, Surface Area of Prisms and Cylinders. Okay, we do have three vocabulary words. Our vocabulary today is surface area, lateral surface, and lateral face. Now the surface area is the sum of all the areas of the faces, or surfaces, of a three-dimensional figure. So that's talking about, we're going to find the area. Think about a polyhedron, you know, a three-dimensional shape. Okay, we're going to find the area for all those faces of it and add them together, essentially is what we're doing. Okay, the lateral surface says, in a cylinder is the curved surface connecting the circular bases. In a cone, it's the curved surface that is not the base. The lateral surface is kind of like saying all the surfaces except the bases, which typically a polyhedron has two bases. You know, if you think about a cylinder, the circles, those are the bases for a cylinder. Okay, the top and the bottom. And the lateral surface is the curved surface. Like if you think about maybe like a soup can, it would be like the label. Okay, lateral face. It says in a prism or pyramid, a face that is not the base.
So would that just be like the opposite? What would the base?
Well, in a pyramid, there's only one base, right? That's the bottom part that it's sitting on. The lateral faces in a pyramid are all the ones that aren't the base. Like all the ones that come to a point that connect at that top vertex, those are your lateral faces. Now in a prism, it's going to be all the ones along the sides, okay? Not the top and the bottom. All right? Yeah. All right, let's take a look at our formulas for today. Now, you don't have to copy this whole thing down. Okay, I'm mostly concerned with my formulas right over here. These are the important parts. Now, what does this mean? Well, what does it mean? Let's take a look. It says the surface area, the S stands for surface area, equals 2 big B plus F. Okay, now, what is the F? The F is the lateral surface area. Okay, I know, that's confusing. But the one underneath it is a little bit better, okay? Where the S equals 2 big B plus big PH. I know, right? Say, what? No, it means 2 times the area of the base. Okay, that's what the big B is. We should be familiar with that now. We've done that the last couple of days. The big P is the perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, that's what the big P is. The big P is just the perimeter of the base. The H is the height. Now, why do you think we do 2 times the big B? Because we have 2 bases. That's right. So whenever we find the area of the base, we have 1. We multiply it times 2. It gives us the area of that other base. Okay? Yes, sir?
So it's times 2.
It's times 2, not to the second power. It is times 2 because there's 2 bases. Okay? Now, and what I'm talking about, like this, like if we were finding the area of the base, well, we could say this is a base right here, and this was a base right here. So when we find the area for that, we just have to find the area for one of them, multiply it times 2. That's our 2b right there. Okay? Then, when it says the perimeter times the height, well, we could find the perimeter and then multiply that times the height, and that'll actually give you the, well, the surface area for all of the other faces. Okay, does that make sense, kind of, sort of? And we'll do a couple of those together in just a moment. Let's take a look at the cylinder. The cylinder is a little bit different because how we find the big B is different, obviously, because the base is a circle. All right, so one of the formulas says is surface area equals 2 big B plus L, which the L is, again, the lateral surface area. Okay? I would probably recommend using this formula right here because this is more spelled out for you. It tells you exactly what we need. 2 pi r squared. Now, pi r squared, we know that that's the area of a circle. And we're multiplying it times 2 because we have 2 circles. Okay? Now, this one says 2 pi r h. What is 2 pi r? That sounds familiar. Yes? Well, it is pi times the radius times 2, but what formula is that? Yes, ma'am? Close. The circumference. Yeah, it's the circumference of a circle. Remember? The distance around the outside of a circle. And then the height will be the height of the cylinder. Now, why does that make a difference? Well, look at this. What shape does the side of a cylinder make whenever it's laid flat? It makes a rectangle. That's right. So if we find the circumference of a circle, the circumference starting right here going all the way around, that's actually the side length of my rectangle right here. That's how come we have to find that circumference, because it gives us the side length of the rectangle. Then once we have that, we multiply it times the height. That gives us the area of that rectangle. Okay? I know. It is a little bit confusing. But just use the formula here. In fact, I'll write our formulas up here so hopefully we can remember them. All right, so if we have... Oh, that's not a good marker. So we'll have our S equals 2 big B plus pH for our rectangular prisms. And for our cylinders, we'll have S equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay, so let's take a look at our first example. Yes, you need to write this down on your notes. That way you can see step by step what we're doing. Okay, now I have the formula written up here for you. Surface area equals 2 pi r squared times 2 pi r h. I know that's a lot of letters. Don't get overwhelmed by it. All we're going to do is put numbers into that formula. So we don't have letters anymore. All we have is numbers. Now, once we have those numbers, then all we have to do is our calculation. So let's get started. I'll start with our surface area equals, we know 2, we know what pi is. And we know that our radius is 4 to the second power. And we're going to add that plus 2 times 3.14 times my radius, which again is 4, times our height, which is 6. Look, we just substituted all our values in there. Now we can solve it. That wasn't hard. Yeah, we'll probably let you use a calculator on this. Now, I'll also give you a hint. 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. Looks like to me you're probably going to be using that number a lot today. Yes, ma'am. All right, keep that number close. All right, so I'm going to solve it one step at a time. 2 times 3.14, I already said, was 6.28. And then I'm going to multiply that times 16 plus, again, 6.28 times, I know 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, so what's 16 times 6.28? Somebody with a calculator? Come on, somebody. 16 times 100.48 plus, what's 6.28 times 24? Now, when we add those two together, what do we get? $251.2. Now, was that hard? No. Yeah, with the calculator it wasn't. No, that wasn't hard. All we did was plug numbers into our formula. That's not hard. Now, if you try to do all this stuff without writing all this stuff down, yeah, it's going to be hard. You're going to forget a step. You're going to get it wrong. Okay? Don't do that. Write your formula down. You have it right there in front of you. Make sure that you plug all the numbers into the proper locations. You'll get the right answer. Okay? But again, if you try to skip around, don't follow your formula all the way through, you're going to get it wrong. Don't try to do anything in your head. It doesn't work. I appreciate the fact that you guys try to do that, but 9 times out of 10, if you don't write it down, you end up forgetting a step, and we end up getting it wrong, and I don't want that. All right, questions on our cylinder. Wasn't that hard. Okay, good. Let's take a look at our next one. This one, we have a triangular prism. Now, what is the base shape of a triangular prism? A triangle. Now, it's sitting on the rectangle. I agree. I agree with you. It is sitting on the rectangle, but we cannot use the rectangular, or we cannot use the rectangle as the base. Otherwise, we would be saying it's a rectangular prism. This is not a rectangular prism. Okay? So the bases would really be our 2 triangles here. This triangle back here and the triangle on the front. I'm not going to color the triangle on the front because if I do, I won't be able to see the numbers. So, I did. Let's take a look and solve this one. Now, this one looks like a little bit more confusing because I have this big P in here and I don't even know what that is. What is the big P? Yes, the perimeter of... No. Yeah, it's the perimeter... It's the perimeter of the base. Now, whenever we have the perimeter of the base on this one, we've already decided what is the base shape. That's right, so we have to find the perimeter of the triangle. Now, if this is a rectangular prism, we'd find the perimeter of a rectangle. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is plug our numbers in for the area of the base. So I'm going to have 2. How do I find the area of a triangle? Base times height divided by 2, so my base is 8, my height is 3, and divided by 2. Yeah, you could just not divide it by 2. That's right. We could just do 8 times 3. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Hutton, you're correct. So let's take a look at, we've already finished the 2 big B portion. Now we need to find the perimeter plus the height. Now how do we find perimeter? We add all the sides up, which in this case, we're going to have this side right here is 5. This side right here is also 5, says back there. And this side down here is 8. So we're going to have our perimeter is going to be like 5 plus 8. Times our height, which the height of the prism is this number right here, guys. Remember, it's how tall it is if it were sitting on the base, which in this case is 10. Okay, so let's multiply. What's 8 times 3? 24 divided by 2 is 12 times 2 is 24. So our first little portion right here is going to be 24 plus, what is 5 plus 5 plus 8 is 18 times 10, 180. Okay, so we have 180 plus 24, which is 204. Now, this would be square feet, if we label it. But that's all we have to do. Okay, again, that's not that hard. Now, if you don't plug all your numbers into your formula, a lot of times you'll forget something, you'll end up getting it wrong. Not because you don't know what you're doing, just because you maybe didn't put a number in or didn't follow your formula all the way through. So make sure you plug all those numbers in before you try to work them out. All right, questions on either of those? Yes, sir? Yes, you have to do this. I meant, is there any questions on whether or not on something you don't understand? No? All right, then let's get to work.